No, I'm not going. Apologies, I should have made that clearer for anyone who will tune in and have a look at this. Let's make sure that you guys are able to hear me, first of all, which you should be. So, good evening. Share this on a couple platforms real quick. So everyone does their site checks. We've got a little bit of time just to see what's going on. Yes, effectively. Jono? Let's see what we got. So only Matt, who is chucking us some gorgeous doughies. Look at that. What a man. Hola, Simon. Pablo Edescartes? I know I butchered that, whatever. Look at this. Can you join him? Chucking some skids? Skids, mate. Appreciate it. Hello, Nudo. Are you in tonight? I don't even... Yes, there you are. No, there you go. There it is. God, you're loud. Everyone's getting amongst it. Love some live commentary, even if it's from an absolute commentary nuffy. We'll just have to make sure we get this through. Oh god, I've missed this. Oh, Josh. Too good, mate. Yep. I have been good to go. It's not waiting on me. I believe it or not, Simon, no. That was the whole idea. I'm commentating. So I'll be showing people that I don't know how to commentate. Here we go, in for qualifying now. Yeah, wow, a bit of a different array of people here. I realize now that saying a different array of people here was just the most useless thing I could have said. I'm just going to do a quick audio adjustment. That's deafening in my ears, to be honest. Alright, that should be a fair bit better. Lovely, as we join the boys for qualifying, of course a very long outlap here at Suzuka, so it's not going to be a very quick qualifying session. But we will jump through the field and just see who we've got on offer for tonight. There is a long list of names, some we know, some we don't, and a lot of them we would have seen in the Super B Team rendition of Div 1 and 2 last round actually. Only the Sardinia for the sprint round. It seems so long ago, of course. We had that week off for the Queen's birthday. God bless her. But we'll go from the front here, and it's GT King who's currently got the track position over everyone. And this man, what can we say about him that hasn't been said already? He's absolutely dominated the Div 2 title. He's shown his face as one of the front runners in RaceOnOz and general. I mean, his performances in the Super Production Car Cup, and I'm sure I just got that acronym wrong. The SPCC, as well as the Supercars Next Gen, when it was called that, were absolutely stunning. And he is, you know, killing it in Div 2, and he's showing himself that he can get it done in Div 1 as well, with a stunning performance at Sardinia as well, to pick up some solid top 5 results. But we'll go on with him here as he begins his flying lap. We'll get on to probably the most common of driving views, I guess you could say, as we're heading down this long front straight into the infamous turn 1 of Suzuka. So many drivers get this one wrong, braking about the 50-metre mark and just coasting it through the corner. Just nice and safe from GT King there. Get it banker in, make sure that you're somewhere near the front. Remembering too that these Div 1 and Div 2 guys aren't racing for any points this round. So even if GT King were to finish this race, for example, in second spot, and we'd have Amazing Air in first, they would both be credited with the full amount of points for a win. So these guys, they're not out there to tread on each other's toes, and they just want to make sure that they solidify points for their own championship battles, and that's what we want to see. So a solid Sector 1 from GT King. He's not too far off the pace there, so you can tell he's just holding back a little bit, making sure he gets it to the end of the lap. No point binning it on your first flyer, so we'll see him here through Sector 2, under the bridge, and through the second sector split. So it's a third sector split, my apologies. It's a 54.5 now into that third sector. Really awkward hairpin there, because you can't go down to first. The Cayman gearing just does not allow it, so you've got to coast it through in second and just make sure that you're hitting the power as early as possible to get that nice run heading up to the spoon curve, which is, to put it politely, a terrible corner in these cars. It's just, it wants to take you out into that green Astra the whole time. We'll see how GT King fares with it. Hooks onto the apex, it just runs wide for him, and like I said, out into that green stuff. So a fair amount of time lost there for GT King, but it's not going to be absolutely substantial. He'll make a fair bit more up coming into 130R and the Casio triangle. So we'll see how he goes here. It's not quite flat in these cars, so you'll see a big lift. Not a sign of brake though. That was great commitment there from GT King, because he's hard on the brakes now into the Casio triangle. He'll clip that first one and then use a lot of the second, as you see, and then run it out as wide as he can for a short route into the flag. And this should be, I think we're looking for about a 204. There you go, so 204 for Div 2. I think the Div 1 guys will be able to do, there you go, 203s, yeah. So that's the benchmark for Div 1. And there we go, Psydog already into the 202s. So GT King probably not actually getting the best out of the car. He won't be happy with that, but this man will be probably a little chuffed with that lap. 6/10 up. Did he have any slipstream? Did he have some help with that one? He's got a large gap to Amazing Hour, so I think that was pure Simon. Pure Cy Bishop, that one. And he's piloting that Astro GT4 Cayman. A very good looking livery, if I do say so myself. And we can see as well those Div 1 boys just starting to sort of compact up at the front. We've actually had someone go off at turn 1. We'll see if we can catch them. There it was, that was Disco Stew, so he's come amok up the first corner, which is very, very easy to do. I wish I had some replay cams in qualifying, that would be great to have, but we do not, so thanks GT. Now this might be a little opportune for Simon. He's catching John O'Clint here at exactly the moment where he'll be able to get some slipstream coming down into the spoon curve and maybe just get by him before he holds him up. That would be best case scenario. It's not always going to work that way. Maybe he can get through spoon behind him, get a move done into 130R. Yeah, you'll just have to hold in here, just wait for the moment. John O'Clint, just take you a bit of a narrow line. There goes Simon as well, so John O'Clint making it easy for him. We'll catch up here again with GT King, who's coming now into that Casio triangle, the final complex at Suzuka. He's got Hatfield for company chasing him in behind. And we'll see if he can improve on that 4 flat, which is still currently the provisional pole time for Div 2, and he just can't improve. Hatfield does pip him by 300, so it's Hatfield to the top for Div 2. Great lap there from the seasoned veteran. Ursine and Ranger both improving their laps as well. Ranger actually, just noticing, sorry, Ranger is starting on the medium tyre, so that's an interesting prospect there. An interesting trade-off. So Ranger starting on the mediums, this is going to bury him real deep in the pack, of course. With all the Div 2 cars, it's not going to be the easiest thing to get by, as Noodles, we see, jumps up to P2 with a 3.2. So that is a huge gap that Simon has on the field. As I say that, Mintmat to P2 shortens that gap ever so slightly, so just over 2.5 tenths now back to Mintmat from Sidog. That's a 3 flat, so Sidog's still the only man to dip into the 3s. As Mintmat goes for a bit of a trip, there he goes. We were only talking about that pre-qualifying. He was saying he'd do it, and he's done it on camera for us, has Mintmat. And that's probably not how he wanted to press on for another lap. He will be able to just cool off for this one and have one final flying lap, but that was a bit of a waste for 4th lap, methinks. And we'll catch it in here. Maybe one of the few Kiwis in the field now. I can't think of many others. Sidog at the top of the pecking order. He's got amazing hour just in behind. He might be getting a bit of a juicy tow here. Sidog, you can see the difference between his lap times. His second lap being a 2.7, a fantastic lap to put him at the top of the pile. And then his third lap dropping down to a 3.5. So whether he just ran into a little bit of trouble, but he'd lost just over 8 tenths in there. So great follow-up. We'll check the sector time here, and he's only 300ths off. So this is right on there now for Sidog. He's got an opportunity here to better his lap. A 2.7 is a great time to lay down. And you just got to think, if he can make any more amends to that, that would be that'd be signed, sealed, all but delivered. As GT King now goes for a 4 flat. Here comes Sidog now to the line. It just misses out to 2.9, so he can't improve. John O'Clint now going to a 5.1, Ranger to a 4.3, so he steps up to 7th place on the medium tyre. Mintmat finding all the track to himself. He could back over further here. Ammo improves to a 5.2. Noodles as well, coming through to complete his lap. He's at a 3.2 last time out to put him at P3, and he doesn't improve this time by, so one more lap for all these guys. Noodles will be full tilt. Amazing hour, our championship protagonist, one of 2 currently with 2 rounds remaining. He is currently P4, so a lot separating him and his main championship rival Sidog. But look at the sector time, it's 600ths up on our man Cy Bishop, so this is looking awfully good for Andrew Lee, Mr. Amazing Hour. We know his as someone actually bowls a massive wide off in the background. They're going digging, and so does Hatfield. Right on time. Everyone's going for a bit of a trip. An Amazing Hour, he's pressing on with it now. Nearly 2 tenths up is PX7 Amazing Hour, so he is not messing around with this lap. As he comes to the hairpin nice and early, using all the track, and he's just catching up to Cy here. Now, if you're Cy Bishop and you know that Amazing Hour is up on his time, you don't give him a sniff of your slipstream. You cannot give him any part of advantage. It doesn't matter. You just don't give you... Yeah. I am slightly surprised Cy's pushing on with this one as close to Amazing Hour as he is. Unless he himself is on a good lap. We'll actually just go up to Cy now, and we'll see through this sector split, just see where he's going lap time wise. As it is, he's 1.5 tenths down. Little does he know, Amazing Hour behind him, just less than half a tenth up. So this is going to be so close now for PX7 Amazing Hour. The man trying to take pole position off Sidog. What can he do coming into the final corners over the Casio Triangle? It's a big cut, but he cuts it short. Down over the line, GT King improves to 5th place, but it's Amazing Hour that we're watching. Can he take pole off Sidog? He can! He takes it! A 2.7 for Amazing Hour. Great lap there from the Tasmanian to take it off Sidog at the death. That was fantastic there. Waiting until the dying moments of the session. There still is one man out there on a lap, and it's Mintmat. He's up. Mitmat is up on all of these guys. He's currently in provisional P3. What can he do coming into it? He's got Noodles up ahead, and he's 200s up on Amazing Hour's time. This is crazy coming into the final parts of this qualifying session. There's only one complex to go for Mitmat. He's just got to nail his markers. Noodles dives out of the way courageously, but it's Mitmat now over both Avexes. Gets on the power early. This has been really tidy here. Can he steal it? Amazing Hour thought he had it done, but Mitmat, he comes through. And he takes it back. It's a 10th clear for Mintmap. How good is that? There we go. What a session. Is there anyone else who can take that at the death? Oh, Psydog thought he had it wrapped up. There comes Amazing Out, and there comes Mintmat. Who could have predicted that? And here comes Groover through for his final lap now, and he's not going to improve. He's had a moment on that final lap. So that is everyone done and dusted. Wow, what a session we had there. Mintmat, congratulations. Pole position here for round 6. There's not a lot of time left in this title. It could have been Mintmat's this season. I think a lot of people knew that his affiliation with the Porsche brand and just how good he's been in that GT4 Cayman before. It could have been his, but he's making amends for it now as he takes the top spot. An Amazing Hour. Battling for P2. It's Psydog in behind for P3. Noodles for P4. It was GT King who took pole position for Div 2. They're building the revs. And we are racing now. Mintmat with the launch he wants, and he goes off to cover Amazing Hour as soon as he can. He's still got a bit of overlap. Does he know it? He tucks in behind. So Mintmat will take P1 coming into the first corner. Everyone struggles to shuffle in behind. Is anyone going to go out wide? They all make it through. Well done, boys. Great racing so far. As GT King has been jumped by Hatfield in the process. So Hatfield now, our Div 2 leader currently. GT King, he doesn't want to stay behind. Oh, there's a bit of overlap there. He wants to make something happen. GT King not waiting around, and here comes Ranger. Now this is awkward here. They don't want to trip over each other, so Ranger probably smart just to really commit here. He's got Disco Stew there, and he doesn't quite... Sorry, my mistake. That was... We managed to go back with GT King there, but it was Ranger did get through there for P6, so Ranger will continue on his march, and he will try and keep up with the Div 1 boys. Of course, Ranger did qualify on that racing medium tyre, which is the mandatory compound. So all these guys will have to stop and put the medium on, whereas Ranger's already got it done. So he could potentially, and in theory, go to the end of the race like this. So we'll have to keep an eye on Ranger, but right now it's Mintmat currently leading the field. Has been some start from Mintmat, and he has just made sure to hold position. He didn't get the best run there actually out of Spoon, so Amazing Hour with a bit of blood in the water might be able to do something about this. Only a 10th behind now as he pulls out of the slipstream. He's got the run around the outside of 130R. You don't make a move there. Can he get it done? And Mintmat closes the door on him. Oh, they've got 2 wheels in the Astro there. Psydog smells it. He wants something. He wants a part of this. And he can't get it done. Amazing Hour goes really defensive there. That was massively deep. And he's actually left himself really compromised there. He's lost the run to Mintmat. Psydog, with another good run, might be able to make something happen. He's got Noodles in behind him, who's just sort of watching and waiting. A fair gap to Hatfield, and then Ranger seems to have bridged back to GT King. So Hatfield may have actually got this nice little buffer back to, you know, whoever. Well, it's GT King, but not whoever. But you know, we're a little distracted at the moment. There's a lot going on. Trying to keep track of 2 divs is a little tough, as I'm finding out the hard way, unfortunately. Just keep an eye on this lead battle at the moment. Whilst purple time's not mattering. Later in the race where we see some top times being laid down, that's when we can sort of open our eyes and go, well, that's pretty solid. Go back in the field and see how these guys are faring. So Ranger now is proving to be a bit of a cork for GT King. You'd assume on that soft compounders tyres, the closing rate there was huge. GT King on that soft compound would be a little bit quicker than Ranger, so he's probably in his best mind to just get by Ranger when he can and try and chase after Hatfield. But Ranger trying to run his own race as well on the mediums. He's very quick. He's clearly not really holding GT King up that much. So it's, yeah, a bit of an awkward one, and you'll hope that these two have got the sense to sort of work it out amongst themselves and figure out how they want to go forward with this. So we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll just see where this one goes. They are very close currently. No changes up the front still. And we'll look back, Ursine, keeping an eye on this battle, as GT King now has actually got the inside, so Ranger's probably just going to back out of this one, you'd assume, as he lays back, gives GT King the line. So now if GT King is able to, this will be ideal if he can just sort of start pulling away and absolutely go for it. That would be definitely ideal, as he can start catching Hatfield and, you know, bridging the gap, because Ranger, if he's got someone ahead of him who he can just sort of sit behind and start pumping lap times off, that's going to work dividends for everyone. You know, catching here with someone else who's sitting behind. It's amazing how sitting behind mid-map, they come through that treacherous turn one at Suzuka. And it's all anything but plain sailing for mid-map right now. He's under a lot of pressure from the current Nations Cup Oceania leader. So there is no shortage of big names in this top four, all of which have their huge credentials on the world stage. Midmat, of course, was the 2019 Tokyo World Tour Manufacturer Series World Champion. So that was a huge achievement. He just gets a little sideways there in the Astro. That was a massive moment for Midmat, as I was giving him the raps there. So a bit of commentator's curse there. It's amazing how it looks for the move. He goes, he sends it. He doesn't quite get it done as Midmat there. Wonderful move from Midmat. That was fantastic to get the switchback. And amazing how Seems second best now. He's got Psydog on his tail. Wants to get something done. We'll see if Psydog can make a dive here. He's a little far back, and he just thinks better of it. Let's have a look here actually at this this move from Amazing Hour. He was close enough up, you could tell. And he's just committed early. He's thrown it down the inside. Midmat backs out of it and pulls back for the cruise. So that was wonderful from Midmat. Great sense just to get that done and know where he had to put the car. And these guys now slipstreaming down the inside. Psydog nearly finds a gap out of nowhere. That would have been impressive from Psydog, because all these guys using a lot of that curb. Amazing Hour really feels like he should have the lead by now. He's looking for any way to get past Midmat. There's massive contact there. That was a huge hit in the rear. And Amazing Hour trying for the around the outside move now, but he hasn't quite got the run. So, and Psydog just trying to poke his nose where it doesn't belong once again. Well, this is heating up at the front. Midmat covering hard on the inside, and he's allowed Psydog to go around the outside. So watch this. Psydog nearly 3 wide here going into turn 1. They all filter back in eventually, but that is unheard of at Suzuka. Does not work at all as Midmat, you know, just holding his own still. He's driving his line, he's going to where he needs to, and at the moment it's working for him. So he's got 2 of Oceania's best on his tail, if not the world's best, but right now he looks as cool as a cucumber. As there's a bit of lag there actually. I panicked thinking he may have gone off, but that was a bit sketchy. We'll just go on here with Amazing Hour. You can see this view here, Psydog in behind, Midmat in front. I believe this is the view that Amazing Hour uses, so we can see exactly what he's seeing, where he's thinking of the move, what he can see in Midmat's driving style, where is he losing time, where is he gaining time. And exactly what he can do to do it. I'll leave you guys with this for just a couple of moments, as we'll come back to live commentary in just a second. And we are back live with the commentary. And as we could see in the last couple of laps while we were away, it is Amazing Hour who has taken the lead and managed to stretch away, while it is Midmat now battling with Psydog for P2. So a huge change of the order now at the top, with our pole sitter Midmat slipping down to P3. Got to wonder now, what can Midmat do here just to try and to solve this problem now? Have a look at the tyres. So he's used the tyres a little bit harder than what Psydog has, and Psydog has probably been the kindest of anyone in this top three on his tyres. So he's got the ability now to push forward and hopefully get to Amazing Hour for a spectator's viewpoint, that is. We definitely want to see a battle here. We want to see something happen between these guys. And you can't help but think that maybe Psydog is just reeling him in ever so slightly. Doodles as well hasn't really lost touch with these guys. 1.3 out from Midmat. So just keeping tabs on him. And the battle for Div 2 as well. Hatfield and GT King are right there. So 8/10 separating the lead from Div 2. With Hatfield in that Pagnian-backed Porsche, who is leading the way from GT King. And it's Erstein Satin currently on the podium as well, with a lengthy gap back to Disco Stew. Actually, there's a fair few cars sort of sprawled out here. We've got Slow Jono in P10, who was, you know, through the wars in Sardinia. It wasn't the greatest round for him, but he is currently leading over. Got Emo, Groover, Oldtimer, Banana Josh, and Max Gassett rounding out the field in Div 2. A lot of these guys as well running on the medium tyre, Max Gassett being, of course, on the medium as well. So these guys playing the long game. Max actually hasn't really dropped his times at all, so he's still running, you know, mid to high eights. So that's exactly what he needs to be doing, and I wouldn't be too worried if I were him. So checking in now, front of the field. Amazing Hour. Still running at the front, a second out. He's just gone into a bit of a control mode here, so he's just able to manage the gap to Psydog behind, hit the numbers he needs to hit, and run his own race. So we're seeing too, with Amazing Hour's fuel, Psydog's fuel, Midmat's fuel, so they're all fueled up to go. We're on lap 7 now of a 21 lap race, so fuel will last no problems till the end for these guys. They only need to be going through a third of a tank by this stage, and it's only just past a quarter, so safe on fuel, one would say. And safe on tyres, one would not say. So the tyre limiting factor is definitely the one that we need to watch out for in this race. These guys will go all the way on tyres if they could. But the tyre wear is going to be substantial here in Suzuka. And GT King has halved that gap since we last checked in with it, so it is now just over 4/10, just under 4/10 now for GT King. He is reeling in Hatfield as fast as he can, and you can't help but think that GT King's probably shaping something up. He's used his tyres a lot less, using that rear end a little bit more, so getting some rotation from the rear of this mid-engine Porsche. I hope it's mid-engined. I'm sure it's mid-engined. Someone correct me, please. But he is well within the slipstream now. 3/10 out for GT King. So weird change of camera. And there's nothing you can do there going into turn 1, so he's just got to sit behind, bide his time, wait for something to happen. He's closed up a lot on the rear now heading into the S's, so Hatfield will be feeling the pressure of GT King. Of course, Hatfield is no stranger to pressure, a man who for so long was one of our prime Div 1 runners, someone who week in, week out battled your Keedens, your Matts, your Jono Sands, and he did not crack one bit. He was as sure as... shouldn't finish that saying, but he was very, very solid as a defensive driver, so GT King will be nothing new to him, and he will be able to handle him for as long as possible. But GT King, we've seen one of the absolute aliens of the season, has managed to pull numbers from absolutely nowhere, And I'm sure he'll have some sort of retaliation for what Hatfield puts up. So we'll go up here now. So Psydog is just losing more and more time now to Amazing Hour. So he hasn't really, and like I'm sure he would have hoped so. It was a 5.2 last time out for Amazing Hour, a 5.6 for Psydog. So just on the other side of lap time, lost 4/10 when he probably would have rather been gaining it. And now he's got mid-map with a 5.7 last time out. So these two are just losing time together. And I can guarantee you, as that was a change for the lead now in Div 2. We'll see if we can just go back and catch that. So it was GT King following now Hatfield. And Hatfield looks like he goes defensive. Oh, and he's just run it deep as Hatfield. Oh no! Hatfield with a huge mistake to hand the lead of the race to GT King. That is an absolute travesty for the man who led for so long. And RaceOnOz has got him as well. So that is now a man between RaceOnOz, or just RaceOnOz in between, sorry. A man between GT King and Hatfield. And that is not what he wanted to see. So Hatfield being the wily old fox, and GT King's actually pulled over there. So, you know, what might happen? I think he may have thought he was at fault for that little incident we've seen. We might just have a look at it again. So it was GT King. We'll just go on board with him here. Now, he may have thought he gave him a bump here. Hatfield's gone defensive. GT King trying to go around the outside. No, look, you're inclined to say that that was going to happen no matter what. I feel like Hatfield was just on a route that was taking him out. But that was great sportsmanship from GT. You love to see stuff like that. As Psydog's gone backwards. Psydog has gone massively backwards. So he has suddenly appeared in P4 and up the road is mid-mat. So that's gone not very well. And it was this lap as well. So we'll just try and catch that on the instant replay. And it's already happened by that point. 4.5 seconds in Sector 1 alone. So it would have been a huge moment at turn 1 for Psydog. Devastated we've missed that one, but it leaves Amazing Hour 2 seconds in the lead over mid-mat. So Psydog has just sort of let that one slip away. Long race. It's still 12 laps after this one. So they've got time to make up for it, but 12 laps, my apologies. That is... no, it is 12. But yeah, that's Psydog back in P4 after being in what was a very strong podium position. But it is now Mid-Mat who has the shackles released. He's running 8/10 slower than his personal best, so on for about a high 5. Yeah, you guys heard that. I pulled that. But still not dropping too much time. His last lap actually was a high 5, and there another one for Mid-Mat. As we see, Psydog has gotten ahead of Noodles. See if we can even catch that move happening. As it was a huge lose at 130R for Noodles. So we just see him rejoining there. That would have been massive to lose that much time. Really awkward stuff. So these guys just starting to let some pressure in and making mistakes when they don't need to be. So interesting. And we can see as well GT King has gotten Hatfield back. So in this little flurry of mistakes, we've seen a change for the lead and a couple of changes for podium positions as well in Div 1. So it is all kicking off here. And we've just got to try and keep a closer eye on how hard it is kicking off. Now, GT King's just got to be mindful as well. So he's got a second to RaceOnOz ahead. And these softs are starting to worse substantially. So GT King will just be thinking now about when he can make that stop to mediums. And these guys further towards the back. So we'll see if we can find our first medium runner in Div 2. Because they will be licking their lips waiting for this to come to them. So it's Old Timer now in P12 who is... well, if he's 30 seconds off the lead, we go to our leader. He is 14 seconds now off GT King. So it has probably stretched out a little far to the point where Old Timer may struggle to get through to GT King. But this strategy has worked time and time again. We've seen it. So he'll play the long game and we'll see what can happen going forward. There's been a yellow flag, so... oh, it's Psydog again! Oh no, Cy Bishop's had a moment at the spoon curve. And he's just gifting positions to Noodles, so... we'll check out what's going on here. So he's come along quite normally through the Holland Bend. And he's come through any form of wheel on the... Oh, he's just run it out in the Astro and around he goes. Oh, such an easy mistake to make, and gifted a position there to Noodles, who I'm sure will be thinking exactly what I was saying with gifting positions to each other. We'll keep an eye on there. So the first of the front runners coming in, it is Mintmap, and he is followed in by Noodles and Psydog. So all these three are a bit of cooperation going on, so they can maybe get an undercut on Amazing Hour. I think Mintmap's going to be the key one to watch here. He may be able to get something done, but... And Cy Bishop, yeah, having a bit of a braking problem. Yeah, that's unfortunate, mate. Yeah, I know how it gets. It's, yeah, that's shocking. G27, am I right? Well, we'll put that one behind and just send it for the rest of the race, yeah? That's right. We've got Mintmat now in P6. So he's got a nice bit of clear air that he's rejoined into. 4.7 to Ursine ahead and 4.9 to Emo behind. So he's come out well ahead of Noodles and Simon, who were just making mistake after mistake. And Noodles as well, dicing through the field to make moves already. He knows he has to be going on this medium tyre. But I think for these two especially, it's just a little bit too late for anything to happen in terms of the race lead. Ranger as well, probably is sitting pretty on that medium tyre, so if we just look at this gap, so Ranger Oz is the man that we said earlier on did have the capability to no-stop this race. So he is 17 seconds now off the lead of Amazing Hour, and he's only 6 ahead of Midmat. So the no-stop not going to be possible here. We can already see that time will be made up by Midmat in those laps, so much better off for Ranger Oz if he's just to come in probably this lap, if I'm honest. Although he is still running 7.4s, so it's not terrible. Now Amazing Hour, another man who I think should be coming in this lap, he's been running high 5s, so really great pace there from Amazing Hour. And he chooses to come in this lap, so there we go. Amazing Hour dives in. This is going to be very, very close now to watch. Mintmap will be his closest competitor, and if he can get any kind of undercut over him, it will be on like Donkey Kong. As we'll see, Mintmap now coming over this Casio triangle. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. They won't be a problem until hopefully later, and they both peel in, so this is perfect for Mintmap. He's got a clean run. He will see exactly when Amazing Hour comes out of the pits. So will we. We're on board with him. The medium tyre on for Amazing Hour. He's coming out now. I think he's a little bit too far ahead for Mintmat to do anything. And yeah, he sweeps in now to turn 1, so Mintmat a little bit further back. He has made a lot of ground though on Amazing Hour, so there is more battles to come, I think. And Ranger Oz as well, so 10 laps to go now in this motor race. Ranger Oz 4 seconds, 3.7 up the road from Amazing Hour. To be honest, Suzuka being the kind of track it is where it is very difficult to overtake, Ranger Oz could really think about just holding onto this one and making a nuisance of himself. He could seriously benefit some positions out of just staying. So Ranger Oz will have to have a serious think about what his idea is for this race. Because I feel like a pit stop now will end him. He will be all the way back with Psydog, maybe Old Timer. And Old Timer now has actually taken the lead about Div 2 race. We will catch in with these guys. It is the medium runner of Old Timer who is at the front. GT King will be in 2nd place for Div 2, now on the mediums, with Hatfield in behind. Your effective podium place, as Max Gassett hasn't been either, is still Ursine Saturn, who sends on down the inside of Max Gassett and makes a stick. I think there was a little bit of contact at the apex there, but nothing too cynical. So and these guys will roll on towards the spoon curve. So some good racing up and down the field at the moment. We'll check in here with these two who are very close again. Psydog only 3 tenths behind. You can't really separate these guys, can they? Can you? Can we? Can't we all be friends? It's just Noodles making a mistake, Psydog makes a mistake, Psydog makes a mistake, Noodles makes a mistake. It's kind of constant with these two, which is fantastic. I mean, they're good friends in combat, as I've actually just managed to rip the keyboard out of my PlayStation, so you'll have to excuse this for a second as we keep an eye on Noodles. Not the worst man to be keeping an eye on, if I'm totally honest though. Just pull a little bit further forward. Should have that all sorted. As Old Timer now relinquishes his lead of the Div 2 race to GT King, who is still in the medium tyre, or still, I should say, has made his pit stop. So he's in good position to press on with this one. And it is all funneling up now. So RaceOnOz, like I said, has not taken the pit stop we thought he would, and is starting to bottleneck the field. So Amazing Hour has caught him just about to be in his dirty air, and it's going to get very spicy here for the front three. Now RaceOnOz will have to have a bit of a thought with himself. If he holds up Amazing Hour, you will see Mintmap pull up to the back of him. Whereas, if he lets him go, I feel like this is Amazing Hour's race till the end. So there are some interesting strategic decisions to be made here. Does RaceOnOz just play his own race and simply be another vessel on the track? Or does he get a little defensive like he is within his right to do, as he is actually battling for the lead of the race right now? We'll see what he does here coming into Spoon. But Amazing Hour doesn't poke a nose, so nothing going on right now. It's all just sitting tight. Nothing really threatening. It's Amazing Hour now who's managed to get the nose up, and RaceOnOz isn't really going to fight it that hard. As Amazing Hour now will, I'm just waiting for that interval to change. Amazing Hour takes the lead there, so RaceOnOz just backing out of that one. Amazing Hour goes in really hot. That looked like a shallow line, even by his standards, so I thought we were going to see a huge off there. Luckily we did not. Now hopefully, more people that we don't see huge offs from are Psydog and Noodles, two guys who are still battling for P4, which, I'm not really sure where they're going to end up at this rate, because Ranger, dropping back at the rate he is, may not ever fall back to Psydog and Noodles, who are just locked in combat. And I'm sure they've thought about that. I'm sure they've said, you know what, we're not going to catch Old Man Ranger if we keep on doing this, so why are we doing it? And my question is pretty much the same. So they'll just have to have a hard think about this and see where they want to end up long term. And I think long term where GT King is going to end up is probably in the lead of this race come lap 21. He has just been very controlled and precise in the way he has handled this one. Hatfield too actually has had a very, very good race. Just sort of latching onto the back of GT King, hasn't let him go too far, so 1.7 seconds at the moment. That gap has just sort of grown and shrunk at will, but never to a point where GT King has felt optimally comfortable. So they're all keeping a very close eye on each other, just making sure that if anything happens, they'll be there. Further towards the back, Groover, one of our soft tyre runners, after making his pit stop on lap 10. Takes a huge chunk out of the first egg of that. We'll just actually go through the field here, see how everyone's going for tyres and fuel. So Amazing Hour, we'll just say everyone has plenty of fuel to go to the end. He has now got a 2.4 second lead over Mintmat, and I think he will plan on keeping that at the minimum. And it is Mintmat P2, like I said, 2.4 behind Amazing Hour on the medium tyre. And Ranger on a very, very second-hand set of mediums, who is just slowly starting to eke time to Psydog. So I'm sure he'll be running the numbers in his head. There are 7 laps to go. How many of those can he keep Psydog behind? So running a 7.8 that lap, that seems to be pretty standard to what he's been running. And you've got to think, if Psydog is running anything less than a 5.9, yeah, that's probably a bit too much. So Psydog at this rate will be catching Ranger with about 2 laps to go. And that is going to be a real exciting one to see. So the Astro Porsche man, who was P3 on the grid, has found himself in P4, will get a chance to fight for that podium position. And Noodles as well. Running with a low 6, so he's not quite got the pace to compete with Psydog right now, but he's just hanging on with him, just sort of watching where he's going, saying, you're not getting away anywhere. You are going to tow me along to a podium fight, and that is where Noodles wants to be. He wants to be in the fight towards the end of the race. And of course, Noodles on that medium tyre as well, so it is the great equaliser between all these guys, and Ranger has brought a knife to a gunfight, I'm afraid. catch him with that one a little bit later. GC King now, medium tyre as well, is stretched it out to a 2.4 second lead over DRZ Hatfield, who will, I'm sure, be happy with the current P2 as he tips in that Porsche to Degner 2. Tip it in, son. That was a bit of a wild moment there from Hatfield. Very nice. And then Urson as well. Urson has been Mr. Tyre conservation this season. He has been absolutely flawless with his ability to save the tyre at absolute will. And I, for one, cannot understand how he is doing it. That is a new level of good. The tyre wear on those is next to none. I've never seen someone as naturally gifted at saving tyres as Urson. So, yeah, absolute raps to the man who is currently on for a P3 finish. However, the man behind him may have something to say about that as he is on another medium tyre. That is not what I expected. So, Disco Stew going to be the last of our medium tyre runners, I would assume. So there's 6 laps to go now. He's got 5.6 to Groover, running a 6.8 last time out. And Groover softs. Seen better days as he takes a very, very unorthodox line through 130R there. And just misses the apex by a fair margin. So I kind of get the feeling Groover's not going to be able to take this one any further than P10 tonight unless we see some major mistakes from the guys ahead. So there we have it, a 7.7 that time by. So not the best lap from Groover, if I'm totally honest. Old Timer, however, has got ammo for company, so these two. This is interesting now. So Old Timer on fresh softs and Emo on very fresh medium. So Emo has stopped on lap 11. That's pretty much standard with most of the field now. And Emo seems to be giving him a bit of a hard time. Now whether that's been a bit of a recent change of position. Yeah, I get the feeling actually Old Timer's just caught up to Emo. Those lap times indicate that Old Timer has been flying for some time, so it's been very good from Old Timer. You know, if Groover puts any more feet wrong, you may see Old Timer just come through and take a bit of a top 10 spot, and that is top 10 overall, mind you. Of course, we do have our top 5 all Div 1 drivers, so that would be a top 5 actually for Old Timer if he can manage to take the spot off Groover. So there's a bit more up for grabs for these guys. Jono Clint as well, one of our guys on the medium tyre currently, running in P13 for the next level racing crew. Another quiet race from Jono. He's run some really consistent lap times. You can see there's some low 7s before and after. It was a 14 back there, which I'm sure was just a bit of a mistake from him. And Banana Josh, this is probably something he'll have to be mindful of. Josh is running high 5s last time out, so that is actually very, very quick from the Selby Acoustics man. He'll be trying to hold on to the pace as best he can, pushing it till the end. There's 5 laps remaining after the line here. And Josh has got Max Gassett all in his review. Both of these guys are setting their personal best lap times time after time. Half a second there for Max Gassett, so he's finding a lot now in the later stages of this race. And I think maybe he's just been driven on by the fact that he can see Josh right there. There could be a battle going on here. He could have something to do in the closing 5 laps of this race, which I'm sure he's a little bit bored and something to do. Probably not a bad thing at all. As he improves there to a 6.5 as his best lap, 0.3 quicker than anything he's done before. PX7 amazing out, still 3.6 to the good over mid-mat. And it's just continued to grow now. And it's getting to a point where mid-mat, it will be probably just looking behind and making sure that he can, hold on to it. 7.2 now to range up. We'll just tag him with this gap. 3.5 back to side off. So that is just closing in lap after lap after lap. So range has just started to dip into the 8. So it was lap 13 with an 8.3 and lap 16 with another 8.3. We're Ranger's worst so far. He's 1.7 off the pace. That is exactly what we'd expect to see on the medium tyre. So don't see that and think he's not trying as hard as he can. But we will just gauge this off what the sector splits and lap times are doing. Sidok now within 3 seconds. So the time gain there was huge through 130 on the Casio Triangle. And it's an 8-1 that time by for Ranger. So I think the 8s are where he belongs now. Whereas Sai in the low 6s. So as predicted, this will be pretty much midway through lap 19. So with 2.5 laps remaining, these two will be on it. And Ranger, I'm not sure what he's got left in the tank to be able to fight this. This will be no easy task. And Noodles as well. He is oh so close to this fight as well, running mid 6s, high 7s, high 5s. This is a bit more of an inconsistent strat, or inconsistent pace for Noodles, so he hasn't really got the car down pat at this combo, as I'm sure he would have wanted to. 1 second down after the first 2 sectors. And we can see now Ranger so close now to that slipstream. 1.6 seconds, 1.4 seconds back to Sidok. The medium tyre is not giving him anything but pain right now. And I think the real battle will be Ranger is trying to stay in the top 5. You know, Sidog is an absolute inevitability at this stage. Noodles probably in the same boat. GT King could even get him as well, and that would be outside of the top 5. And the first of Div 1 drivers to get beaten by a Div 2 driver as well. Although calling GT King a Div 2 driver at this stage is just wrong. Although, just lost a bit of time there as Noodles. So Noodles struggling on the tyre as well. Further 1.7. Apologies. Ugh, been a very long day. Yeah, 3 seconds now. Sidog back to Noodles. And Sidog now is in the slipstream range of RaceOnOz, so forget what I said about the 19.5. Forget what I said about 2.5 laps remaining to fight it out. This is it. He's right there now. So from here until the end, Sidok has got to find a way to pass a struggling RaceOnOz around a track where passing is just one of the hardest things you can do without dropping it, pretty much. Without absolutely throwing it away for everyone. Sure, he'll give it a red hot go. Ranger just so slow coming through that Dunlop curve. He's got no grip left on his Michelin rubber. Sidok trying to go around the outside. No, that's not happened at Degna 1. Ranger's having none of it and slides the car into Degna 2 to say, I am not letting you by there. You can shove off and wait. Ranger will fight this one to the death if he has the choice. He's absolutely traction limited. Sidog thinks about a stint there. Ranger goes very deep, so he's leaving it open for Sidog. And there goes Sidog through and into P3. Ranger isn't done with it though. He's got the inside line, so he might take this position back. 5,000s, Ranger momentarily takes back. Sidog will have the inside line for Spook Curve, but then Ranger will be able to slot back in for the slipstream. We'll see how this one pans out. It's Ranger who just tucks in behind. Sidok goes deeper but takes track position for now. If Ranger can just keep it on the road, he can stay in the slipstream and get something done coming into 130R. Look at that gap, just slowly decreasing. So Ranger, he did what he needed to do. He stayed in the slipstream. If he gets an opportunity, he will send this one back. And he'll just tuck in. Oh, God. And he's too far back there, so Sidok has to nail this or he will be vulnerable. And it looks like he has, so Ranger forced to take a bit of a narrower line. And that gap has extended massively, out to 7, nearly 8. 8/10, so Sidok is gone. Lap 20 begins, and Sidok, your current man for the provisional podium, is checking out. Now are keeping an eye on Noodles, closing in every single second, every sector on Ranger Oz. Ranger will be desperate not to lose any more positions. He has been the man all season who has tried something with strategy. It's been no stop this, one stop that from Ranger. He has, tried every trick in the book to get some wins. It was a stunning win as well in Tokyo from Ranger for doing the no stop. An option that I also had, could have shared that glory with him, with probably a surefire P2 finish. It did not. Did not. But Ranger now, who is probably feeling a little more glum than what he was after he won Tokyo, has now got 1.2 seconds, probably 1 second after this hairpin, back to Noodles in 5th place. Look at that, 1.1 now between these guys. So Noodles, just with that extra drive and a little bit extra grip on turn, it is able to just monster up to the back of Ranger Oz. And it is all getting a bit too close to comfort now for Ranger Oz, the Selby Acoustics Racing man. Oh, it's amazing how you can't say he's holding back, is he? He is absolutely ragging this thing out. Amazing how not wanting to leave anything on the table with this Porsche GT4 Cayman Club Sport. He wants to extract everything out of it until the very end. As he begins the final lap, it was a 5.9 that time by, so amazing how setting some very quick lap times in the dying light. Matt with a low 6, so Matt probably just backing off a little bit more than what we'll see Amazing Hour do at the end of this one, and wanting to confirm it towards the end of the race. It will be Sidog now. We'll see he begins the final lap of the race in the Astro Porsche for P3. 13 seconds out of Matt, so a fair distance there to his fellow World Tour competitor. And then 3.2 back to Ranger, who he only passed last lap, mind you. So Ranger now. Pardon me. Ranger now, who has got a rear view mirror full of Noodles. Although that's probably not the worst thing I've ever heard. A rear view mirror full of Noodles. Although right now, I don't think Ranger sees the humour of it. He has got Noodles looking for any way to get past him, and he's trying to look for the move there. Noodles has got a little bit of overlap coming into Dunlop Curve, so he'll try around the outside of Degna 1 and thinks better of it. Smart move from Noodles as he gets the nose in there at Degna 2. Gets it done. Noodles, what a send there. And Ranger forced to take a little bit more of the road than he would have wanted to. Noodles makes a move out of nowhere to get through to P4. Where did that come from? As we'll check in here, we'll just get this P5 view. Ranger runs a little bit deep and Noodles sticks the nose in there, fires it down, and leaves us all speechless. So fantastic effort there for the Bruce Harrell Racing driver. I'm sure their team owner, Captain Risky, will be very happy with how that one went. So Noodles now up to P4. Someone who will be a little more chuffed, you'd say, than Captain Risky will be PX7 Amazing Hour. This man has ruled the race from the moment he got past mid-map, from the moment he got rid of Sidog. Amazing Hour has won and run this race, and it is a P1 finish now for Amazing Hour. Well done, mate. That was a fantastic drive and a well-deserved win. And of course, credit as well, where credit is due for Mint-Matt in P2, our pole sitter. A very unlucky race to finish where he did. Sidog comes across the line for P3, the first of our Kiwi drivers. Noodles will take P4 with Ranger, the gamble not paying off for P5. But it's GT King who will take another dominant win in Div 2 for P6 overall. And Hatfield will take P2 in class there with a great drive there from Hatfield. And Ursuline will round out the podium in Div 2. Old Timer coming through on these very sore looking soft tyres will take P4, so a great drive from Old Timer from somewhere towards the back. That was a very long one there. Disco2 just holds on to Groover, who will take P5, 6, 7, P8 for Banana Josh. P9 will be Max Gasser, who had a very tough race, and he shows his approving nature. And then P10 or 11, I'm losing it here, will be John Oakland, who has had a very tough one towards the end. So there is your results confirmation. in your winning confirmation here for PX7 Amazing Hour. Andrew Lee, who will surely take the lead of this championship commandingly over Seidel before we go into the final round at the Nürburgring GP. So what a race that was, and what a qualifying session as well. I think the highlight for me was that that stunning qualifying session we saw towards the end, where these guys just saw time after time that they could come in and steal pole off each other. I may just try and set up a little bit of a cooperate. Hopefully we can. Oh, didn't want to do that. I'm hoping we haven't actually lost Seidel a little bit too early. He has ducked off. May just be a little bit late. I did just want to hear about that little battle with Noodles that seemed to edge out towards the end, but never really kicked off. We didn't see that that real tight-to-tight stuff that we hoped we could. We might cap it off there. I don't think we're going to be able to get Seidel in for a quick interview. That was fantastic racing. Of course, congratulations to Amazing Hour and GT King on their wins in Div 1 and Div 2. There is one round remaining next round at Nürburgring GP for the Retro Round. We love Retro Round, don't we? We always love Retro Round. And there we go. So that's actually, Emo, they're saying GT King is the Div 2 champion. So if that's true, that was the one that sealed it for GT King. So congratulations to him if that is indeed true. It's been a fantastic season, and I am 1000% certain we will once again see GT King in Div 1 next season. So we will definitely round it out there. That has been a fantastic ride. I hope to see you all at another one, whether it be Super B Team or another live commentary, and I will see you guys around. Thank you very much for joining, and good night.